So, my basis for believing I'm John Kennedy, I'm a very aware. It sounds like a very stupid thing, but basis being that after jumping off a building over a birthday that was the anniversary of JFK's assassination, I move into room 17 the day 17 die and 17 are injured in a Parkland shooting. And the movie Parkland came out 10-4, which means a primitive copy, and it's about JFK dying at Parkland, Lee Harvey Oswald dying 2 days later. Jackie Lee means Jacob and Leah, okay? Jacob and Leah are the two most influential and important patriarchs and matriarch in the entire history of the world, and both of them became that through criminal activity, and Leah rebelled against divine decree and was weeping so much. It said that, it was mainly her eyes being so tender from all the weeping that really was the big difference between her and Rachel, because they were both extremely attractive, some say twins, but actually it was, that's how Leah was able to, that's the only explanation for how Leah was able to steal the wedding, that he made himself 7 years to get married to Rachel, and then he wakes up the next morning realizing he married the wrong person. They would have had to almost been identical, but Leah's behavior was way different, and she wasn't a spoiled brat, and she was the personification of essential rejection, okay? Jackie, Lee, Kennedy, Jacob, and Leah, and people born that birthday are Sagittarius and Scorpio, and Jackie Lee Kennedy, after she got in a fight with somebody over the corpse of John F. Kennedy, which had been tampered with, and there's the whole magic bullet theory regarding the autopsy and whatnot, and so it's biggest conspiracy of any assassination in the history of America. She went on to purchase Scorpio Island when she became Jackie Onassis. Okay? Well, I move into room 17 the day 17 die, 17 are injured in Parkland shooting. 17 means I have lived in Roman numerals, and is often on Italian tombstones, and there's oftentimes not a 17th floor in Italian buildings because it's like the number 13th. And Benito Mussolini, I was studying at the time, Benito Mussolini means blessed Jacob, his middle name Andrea, which is an alternative for Andrew, okay? And one of the victims of this shooting had a Jewish author of a father who I admire very much, named Andrew, and her name Meadow is the meaning of the name Leah. And Las Vegas means meadow. They say what the meadows, what's said in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. Lee Harvey Oswald means Leah Meadow, battle-worthy, divine power. And Jacob, okay, let's put it this way. He married Rachel and Leah, okay? And Rachel was the name of Batman's bride, and Harley Quinn means hair, and Leah, my Chinese zodiac, is the bunny. The Chinese zodiac of Meadow Jade is a rabbit. And the jade rabbit was placed on the moon, and Leah is the personification of the moon. And JFK put enormous amounts of money, extremely insane amounts, which would be almost $200 billion of American money, into the Apollo program to get somebody to the moon, okay? And werewolves have an obsession with the moon, and the final child of Jacob was Benjamin, called a ravenous wolf, and they talk about wolves having an extremely romantic relationship with the moon that they can never get to, okay? And Benito, Andrea Mussolini, made a bunch of copies of the Capitoline Wolf, where he got shot on Capitoline Hill, which Capitol Hill is named after Capitoline Hill, and it comes from the word skull, because it was a skull that was found there, and it was the Capitoline Wolf that breastfed the twins who founded Rome, Romulus and Remus, which gives the Roman Catholic Church and the Roman Empire its name. And those were twins, and Jacob stole the blessing from Esau. Blessed are those who bless Jacob, cursed are those who curse Jacob. In and through Jacob, Mussolini, all the nations shall find their blessing. Benito means the same thing as Benedict, which means blessed, okay? Well, 17 means I have lived, implying a spirit living after the body is dead, okay? A superstitious number like 13. Benito Mussolini wouldn't sit at a table of 13 people, very superstitious. And I moved into room 17 on the 5th floor, okay? And I jumped off that building, 2017, a few days before JFK would have turned 100-year anniversary of his birth in May, okay? And the miracle of Fatima. Fatima means moon goddess, the source of the sun, Our Lady of Fatima, was appearing to the Shepherd Children May 13th, 1917. That was the PIN number on my phone and my card at that time, 1917, in honor of that. Okay? Also, a lot of things. Okay, there's a Stephen King book written about, JFK and someone named Jake, which is an alternative for Jacob. And so Jack Ruby killed Lee Harvey Oswald 2 days later. He died at Parkland. Lee Harvey Oswald, Jack Ruby, Jacob Ruby. JFK went by John and Jack. My last name alternative for John and Jack. And there's a book written about JFK getting 666 votes at the Democratic Convention. Okay, and then he dies of a fatal head wound. It's called Unmasking the Beast, Second Reign of JFK. Stephen King writes a horror book about JFK. Benito Mussolini died Feast of Louis de Montfort, who said, in the end times, the elect will be Jacob. And Benito Mussolini promised the day he died on the Feast of St. Louis de Montfort, I will return to head a greater nation in need of a leader, and you will feel the arm. Okay? And JFK has a book written about his second coming because he dies of a fatal head wound. The beast of the apocalypse has a fatal head wound. And scripture says in Revelations 12, and when they realize the fatal head wound is healed, the world goes after the beast. And it says the beast comes out of the sea, meaning it's a spirit. The sea says is place where called the world of the dead are in the sea. Okay? And it says the sea give up the dead. And so it's, the sea spirit coming out and going into a fetus, because the spirit of the Antichrist is a spirit that has influenced many people. The beast comes out of the water, out of the world of the dead, and goes into a fetus upon conception. That person grows up, nobody would realize it's JFK. The person themselves does not know they're JFK until gradually it is revealed to the person through many coincidences. I spent 10 weeks in a wheelchair so I could move into room 17 the day 17 died and 17 are injured, to see Meadow and Rachel Scott. Meadow's father, Andrew, his last name's Scott. Well, Rachel Joy Scott is with the same picture as Meadow. Columbine is an alternative for Columbus. JFK was the Knight of Columbus, okay? And their symbol is the fascist, the symbol for fascism. Many rods bound together to form one unbreakable axe. And Acts of the Apostles, and the apostle to replace Judas is pictured with an axe. He died at the same place St. Matthew did in Ethiopia, where the Rastafarian dynasty fell in 1974 from the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon's son. And it was a 1974 penny while I was in jail, showing up in places there shouldn't be pennies. Anniversary of Denise Naslin's dying, and she was the first commie to visit me. Her mother's last name, a maiden name Deeb, which is Arabic for wolf, a descendant of Abraham. Meadow Jade, descendant from Abraham. And she's pictured next to Rachel Scott, with Rachel and Meadow. And all the similarities these two women had in common is so remarkable. They're pictured right next to each other. But only I realized right there, Meadow means Leah. That's Rachel and Leah, the two brides of Jacob. And Columbine is an alternative for Columbia, the female personification of America. And Columbia, Knights of Columbus, Columbia, Babylon is actually, there's a personification that's a woman. And then Jerusalem is a woman, Isaiah 66. Oh, that you would nurse with delight at her abundant breast, drink fully the milk of her comfort. She will fondle you. See, the government, Roman government, people say Roman because Benito Mussolini died on the city of Seven Hills. Or no, he was shot there and he survived a fatal head wound that was not fatal, just went through his nose, and he finished his march, put a Band-Aid over it. He had a Jewish mistress who everyone thought was his wife, other wife, even more so than Rachel. She wouldn't be photographed with him. He made all these copies of the Capitoline Wolf and sent it everywhere. So Denise, the one who introduced me to Shinto, which does not contradict Christianity and has a tomb for an incarnation of someone who said they were Jesus Christ, that the state religion of Japan, which does not accept immigrants, accepted him as their messiah based off of the fact that he could turn water into sake, okay? Sake, S-A-K-E, like sake, God's sake, for Christ's sake, And Mussolini promised he's going to return JFK. He had a head wound, and then he dies hanging upside down. And Emperor Hirohito, the high priest, He collected butterflies. A caterpillar hangs upside down to become a new creation of butterfly. The whore of Babylon hung upside down from meat hooks like him and his mistress. And Obon Festival means to hang upside down in Japan. And he was hung upside down on Emperor Hirohito's birthday, who collected butterflies, the high priest of Shinto, and the oldest imperial dynasty in the history of the world. God bless you.